I'll be celebrating on Good Friday, and we'll speak more then about the profound mystery of the Passion. It's so difficult to fathom. But today I'd just like to say a few words about, Palm Sunday itself, the procession. The people were enthusiastic, saying, "Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord, the King, the Son of David," waving their palms. And a few days later they were saying, "Crucify him, crucify him." Spiritual writers have been pointing that out for a long time. Now maybe it wasn't exactly the same people, but it does say something about a mob mentality. And that's a danger in our own time. Mob mentality. You know, one of the most telling passages about that phenomenon, is when Jesus began his ministry. 4th chapter of St. Luke, he goes to Nazareth where he grew up and read from Isaiah the wonderful passage about, "I'm come to preach good news to the poor, release to the captives, recovery of sight to the blind." And the townsfolk, his townspeople were delighted. It said that they were rejoiced at the marvelous, gracious words which came from his mouth. Some of them asked, though, "Who is this guy? I mean, we know him." And Jesus said, "Well, a prophet's not always received in his own town." And then he quoted from the scriptures. He said there were many widows in Israel in the time of Elijah the prophet. But not one of them received the help. It was this foreigner, this woman in the pagan city, Tyre and Sidon. And he said there were many lepers in Israel in the time of Elisha the prophet. Not one of them was cleansed except the foreigner, the Syrian general who had invaded the country, invaded Israel. He got God's mercy. God's universality. And so what happened? They were so furious. The very same people who a moment before had been delighting in his words now were gritting their teeth and rose up together and were ready to throw him over the cliff, it says. So as soon as our specialness, our privilege is questioned, we become a murderous mob. God's universality is a challenge to us. And that's still happening. It can still happen in our own time. A murderous mob, when our privilege is questioned. That's how Jesus got crucified. The religious authorities, the political authorities, as soon as their power and their privilege was challenged, they got rid of him. So there's a danger of that always, but in our own time, in our own country, the white Christian male, as soon as the privilege is questioned, as soon as we're called to more universal love like God's, the less privileged. When we see people of other races, look at our history. When we see people of other religions, Muslims, Jews. When we see people of other nations, all those immigrants. People of other sexualities, that's a big one. What do? We become a mob. The very quality of heart that should allow us to resonate with the sufferings of others and open our hearts to the universality of God's love. Even that's being maligned by supposed Christians. Empathy. I can't believe what I'm reading. People are saying empathy is a danger to civilization. It's a suicidal empathy. Empathy is a virus, a worm that penetrates our brain. Empathy is who God is, God's compassion. And that's who we're created to be in God's image. To have our hearts, like Jesus on the cross, open to all people of all time, of whatever condition. However it challenges our special privilege, our specialness. These are the people often very neglected and oppressed and whatever, mistreated, who are saying, my God, why have you abandoned me? And what are we saying? Crucify them! Crucify them! Christ is crucified all over again by us today. Be very careful.